All right, we're going to try this again. Take two. And if this doesn't work, what I'll do is I will turn off the Twitter stream and I'll turn off YouTube, and we'll just try it on Facebook and just sort of narrow it down like that. So I guess I could test this as well. Just make sure that that audio is working right. Not real sure that it is, though, but I want to just look here and see. Just pulling it up now on my iPad. I want to see what it sounds like here. What I'll do is... Oh, it sounds better. I think. Sounds better for me anyway. Just let me know. Yeah, I think we fixed it. All right. So let me know if it's sounding okay for you guys. All right. Awesome. I'm so glad that worked. Okay. So I want to go darker over here. Oh, I should turn on the chat here. Make sure I can see what you guys are doing. And let's see here. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, let me know if that audio starts breaking up again, and hopefully this is better this time. That little test I did seemed to sound better anyway, so hopefully it is. Okay. You know, when you're doing a portrait, though, especially, in colored pencil, you often will get people that they'll be so overly obsessed and concerned about the first layer of pencil that they put down, the color I'm talking about. And they'll, I don't worry about that so much. And maybe they'll spend, hours or days trying to figure out which color would be the perfect color to start with. And my opinion is it really just doesn't matter that much. Just start with a color and start working on it. And then, things will work out. I mean, you probably don't want to start with yellow or anything like that, but as long as you have either a dark color or something in the middle value, then you're able to just establish some of the values and the form and all of those good things. And the subsequent layers will work out a lot of the other issues. Nothing can replace just starting. Just get it going and worry about all those other ancillary things later on. Okay. I should delete that other stream out there. I listened to that. You guys are right. That sounded really bad. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, that's correct, Kelly. Yeah, except, let's see. Yeah, this one that I'm using is burnt sienna. So that's the first one that I'm kind of starting with. Although I did start with, what was it? It was Merlot. No, that's not right. I think it was, let me see. It's in this list here. It's this one. Which one is this? Mars Violet. That's what I started with. And then now I'm switching over to this burnt sienna just to get something on there. Okay. got a lot of shadows over here on this side of the face because the light source is over on the right and the hair is standing away from the head, and so it's coming back, creating a cast shadow on this part of the face over here, right above where the zygomatic arch is over here. That's incidentally just one of the areas where the face is the most narrow, is right there by the eyes, right below the temples, right above the zygomatic arch area. And the reason for that is because the largest areas are right in here, right where the cheekbone area is, in the zygomatic area. Those stick out further. And, you know, it's not something that you often think about, that area sticks out further than anything else, but it does make a difference when you start drawing a face. As long as you think about all these anatomical things that are going on, then it becomes easier to start depicting those things, because you've got that in the background of your mind the whole time. You're thinking about, you know, those differences in all of these features. You know, they're very similar though. The polychromos pencils and these pencils are very similar. One thing I've noticed is I feel like these are just slightly more waxy. I get more dust with the polychromos pencils. When I sharpen them, when I start to use them, there's just this little bit of residue, a little bit of dust that you get. Does that make sense? Maybe. I still like the polychromos pencils. They're very nice. But I'm really loving these pencils a lot. Use a little sticky putty there, remove some of that. The other nice thing about Pastelmat, doing this on Pastelmat, is that, you know, you're not going to have to worry about having a whole bunch of areas that you've got to erase if you make a mistake. You can go back over that later on and correct it, you know, because all these subsequent layers will go on top. You can even draw light over dark, and it works pretty well with a non-absorbent surface like Pastelmat. You might like these better. I don't know. You know, it's hard for me to say that anything's going to replace my luminance and my polychromos pencils. But these are just going to be added in now, I think. These are going to be part of, you know, the entire set of pencils that I think about and that I go to whenever I'm starting a project. I love some of the color selections. I like, I'll put it this way, I like the color selections. I like the color selections much better with these pencils than I do with the polychromos pencils as far as skin tones are concerned. So let me see here. Lady Marigold. And you know what, Lady Marigold, I have her to thank you so much for letting me know how to, she put the pressure on me to get the video feed figured out where I could switch that camera around. I spent several hours trying to figure that out, and I finally got it figured out. So she's asking, I find the undertone hard to judge at times. Some people use an almost greenish color for the yellow undertone to a skin color. Do you use anything as a comparison color to get that initial tone correct? Yeah, you know, with this one in particular, I was trying to find some type of, different skin tone that I thought might look like the middle value. But what I found is that she's got a lot of darkness around the eyes, and so I can go ahead and go with one of these middle values, which is why I'm going with this burnt sienna. I often start with blue. So Aileen is asking, what is the pen you're using? Your great skin tone. Let's see here. You're asking what pencil I'm using? I'm using burnt sienna from Lightfast, the Derwent Lightfast colors. Is what I'm using at the moment. Yeah, the polys can get a very, very nice long point on them. I can probably get the same point on these. I'm not pushing it really as far as getting the super point on these like I normally do. And the reason for that is because for the live stream, I'm just using an electric pencil sharpener, so I can do it quickly. When I'm actually drawing a little bit longer and I'm not doing a live stream, then I'm probably going to be using the Derwent Superpoint pencil sharpener. There was another sharpener that I was trying recently that I kind of liked the effect it was giving me. Now I got to sharpen this again. All that talk about the pencil point makes me want to sharpen this. I'm just going to sharpen that point just a little bit. Go over here to this eye. I don't want to linger too much on one eye. There we go. Ah, it's so satisfying to get that shading done right there at that crease in the upper eyelid. Oh, the Derwent Superpoint is? Yeah, I love that one. Is that what you were meaning, Kelly? I'm guessing. It's such a good one. Let's see here. I'm going to contort my wrist to get this over here. Now I can always go darker over here on the left side of the face because it's all in shadow with this reference. Because that light source is hitting the right side of the face, not the left. I don't know what I said. I think I mixed those up. But yeah, the left side of the face, her right, is all within shadow. So it's going to be darker. This little spot right over here can always be darker. I should have done that over here. This can be darker as well. There we go. That point didn't last long. I gotta sharpen that one more time. Maybe I should try that new sharpener. It's kind of odd. You have to. It's got an internal battery, and you charge it up through a USB, and then once it's charged, then you unplug it, and then you can use it. You can't use it while it's plugged in. which is really kind of odd. But I haven't tried it in a little while, and I've had it off the charger now for some time, so it may not be charged anymore. I'm not sure how long that battery will last. Okay. This is darker right in here as it curves around. And this is a more recessed area, obviously, right there by the corner of the eye, opposite the side plane of the nose. And then right under here, underneath the tear duct of the bottom eyelid is darker because that's more recessed. Then right up here where the apex is, because the eyeball itself creates a curve right in there. Okay. So I can move this down, this shadow right here, because it curves around the eye a little bit. And as I do that, then I'm going to lighten up my stroke as I get towards the middle of the shaded area. There we go. And I'll just extend this shadow out just a little bit more over here. There we go. Okay. All right. Go back to this and make this a little bit darker still. And right underneath here by the tear duct, it's always a little bit darker. I'm not going to use the full saturation of this pencil, though, only because the coloring of this pencil is more of the middle value and not as dark as I will eventually go in that area. Some of these areas that are going to be darker eventually. Okay. I can move this out some. Okay, let's see. I think I might try that new pencil sharpener, just see what it does. See if it's working right now. Oh, it is. So this is what it looks like. I don't know if anybody else has this one. If you're watching the video, it does give you a very long point. And it will push back your pencil just a little bit once it's sharpened. So that is a pretty nice long point. I still think I prefer the Derwent Super Point over this pencil sharpener. yeah, you know, it just, for some reason, it doesn't give me, maybe I should try it one more time here. Doesn't give me the real nice long point that I was wanting. It tapers the point quite a bit, but the little edge is not. Hey, thanks for joining, guys. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Luca. Yeah, that point, though, is just not as needle point as what I want. So, go back to sharpening up that point just a little bit here. There we go. Okay, I am going to start coloring the iris here in a little bit. That's always a fun thing to do. Just wanted to get some of these values in here, though. Okay, this needs to be a lot darker right here on that upper eyelid. There we go. Smooth that out just a little bit. I don't like having all these lines everywhere. I want to make sure it looks a little more smooth in that area. Okay. You notice how, if you can see the nose over here, it might be kind of hard to see where the camera is, but there's just a lot of pink in that nose right there at the center line of where the face is. A lot of pink there. And one thing we're missing in this Derwent Lightfast pencil range is a lot of pink. So Kelly's asking if I use a lot of, if I use OMS a lot. And no, I don't. I don't use it a lot. I do use it, but I use it with intention. I don't just say I use OMS all the time, and so that means I've got to use it again. I try to think about where it would be of benefit to the overall piece and where it's going to help speed something up. And so often in the hair, I'll use it. I'd like to try not using it in the face if I can help it, because now I'm talking about most of the time with like traditional drawing paper like Stonehenge and things like that. I love just the texture that you can get of the paper. It can nearly look like actual skin whenever you can allow just the paper and the pencils to work together, and it can just start looking like, skin. It has that quality, that particular texture about it. It's just beautiful. And if I put OMS on it, it would just destroy that. So I want to think like that usually. Now, if it comes to the hair, comes to the clothing and things like that, yeah, I'll probably use OMS if it's going to help with speeding things up or help with the look that I'm after. Give it a real saturated look. Nothing wrong with using OMS. It's just something that, I don't know. I love the discipline of drawing. I love drawing. I like taking my time to build up layers and make sure that everything is staying where I want it to, and that I'm not, often you'll hear people say, well, I use OMS because it saves time. But then if you start watching someone using OMS, often they're spending a lot of time doing all of those things that's required with OMS. The drying of the OMS, the application of the layer, and then relayering it, and fixing areas that go out of control, things like that. If you use it sparingly, though, and if you use it in little dabs and little spots, for me, the way that I like to use it, when I do use it like that, it makes a lot of sense, and it's controllable. Of course, I also draw very tiny as well. So I know some people draw really large, and so I don't know how they would get through it if they didn't use OMS. Hi, Courtney. Thanks for joining. All right, let's see here. So I get into this thing where I don't want to stop shading a particular area, and I just want to work my way all the way down the face and down the nose. But I need to move on, and I need to, just because I want to move on to the eyes and start working on the values of the eyes and then the irises and coloring those in. So, okay, stop, John. All right. I just want to keep going. Stop. All right. So I'm going to lay that pencil down. And let's see here. I'm going to go back to, let me think here. I want something, I see a little bit of blue in, quite a bit of blue actually, in the sclera. So I'm going to see what blue I can use here. I want a very dark blue. Let me look. I think I want whatever blue this one was. Now I got to remember. Let's see. Denim? Was it denim? Might have been. Oh, hey, Vanessa. How's it going? Yeah, you should definitely try them. I think you'll like them. No, that's not it. Let's see. Maybe it's sapphire. That's pretty good. Maybe mid blue. I'm just gonna use them all again, I guess. I think I like sapphire. Okay, I gotta sharpen him up. There we go. Yeah, that's such a better point. Okay, so I'm looking at the eye that you can't see. Hold on, let me see if I can move that down for you. Is that better? Maybe you can see the eye a little bit. My preferred size portrait is About the size of a head or slightly smaller, maybe 80% of what the head size would be. Something like that. I've not really gone larger than the head, but I do want to do that. I haven't done it yet. Okay, I'm just going to be very careful and not put a lot of this in here. Just a little bit. There we go. Want to be very judicious about putting that blue in there. You can't even see it too much right now, but when I add the lighter colors on top, then we'll be able to see it. It'll force it down into the tooth of this paper. That's what will happen. Okay, while we're at it, we can just use this blue in some other areas here. Let's see. Work on the edge of this sclera, or of the iris rather, and go ahead and establish some of that edge up there where the eyelashes are. And we'll do the same thing over here. There we go. And get that edge in there. Kind of stops right over there. And then it goes further. And it's a little thicker over here on this side, and then extends. Sounding good? Good. Thanks, Peggy. I would love to say that I was just real brilliant and figured out exactly what the problem was, but that's not the case. I don't know what fixed it, really. I did change a couple of things, and then I started thinking, okay, don't change everything or you won't even know what happened. But I still don't know what happened. Okay. Let me see here. What can I use? I can use that dusky pink, I think would be a good one. Yes, they are oil-based. They're the first oil-based pencil line for Derwent. I think that's right. Pretty sure. So if somebody knows different, correct me. Okay. Here we go. And then there's a little bit of a blood vessel right in there as well. And we can probably depict that here in a minute. I can use that dusky pink right in there for the tear duct as well. And then on this side, we can do the same thing. And I can do it over here as well. This is when it starts looking weird. It's going to start looking odd for a while. Okay, go a little darker right in here. A little darker right there. And up here. There we go. The nice thing about, using this non-absorbent surface again is that some of this little glint of moist areas in the tear duct, we can put white over on top of this darker color, and it will show up on Pastelmat. And then if it's not showing up real well, if we still need more in there, we can also use brush and pencil products, we can put a little bit of that titanium white and touch up texture down and just make it sort of pop right there if we need to. I love having that product available to us now. If we find that we need it, it's there. Used to, we didn't have that option. Okay. Now this needs sharpened. Having to sharpen my pencil so much more often than I typically do when I'm using an electric sharpener. So there again, talking about saving time. Are we really saving time when we're using an electric sharpener? You might be saving time in the short while, but overall, you're having to sharpen it more often, or I sure am. This is such a nice color, too, this dusky pink. Okay. Now we get to choose. Hey, no problem. Sure. Well, thanks for joining. Yeah, I realize if you've got to go, not everybody can just hang out, and draw all day, right? So thanks for joining, though. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Okay. You can always watch the replay as well. So don't forget about that. Yeah, I can use one of the mini blacks that we have in this set. Yeah, Merlot is such a nice color, isn't it, Kelly? Love it. Okay. Now with this pink, we can use it sort of as a middle base over here. No problem, Jennifer. Awesome. Cool. It's good to see you, Jennifer. Good to read your text on here, I guess. I guess that's the way I'm seeing you. Yeah, take care. Thanks for joining. Okay. Oh, such a good color. Love it. Man. I don't know. I guess I just sort of missed it early on when the first 36 set came out. I thought, this, I was excited. I love the performance of these pencils. But as far as portrait colors, I didn't see it. I don't know why. I just didn't see all these awesome colors that they had, and I didn't think about them, as being great for portraits at the time. I don't know why, but now that I'm giving them a second look and looking at this expanded set, I'm just like, wow, yeah, these are great for portraits. Okay. Now my biggest highlight, the strongest amount of reflected light in this portrait, and it's a good thing to identify early on, is right there at the top of the side plane of the nose. So right in this area right here, that's going to be my strongest light right in there. And Yes, yes, and yes, Lady Marigold. Thanks for pointing that out. That's exactly right. It's often why I will not, it's not something I just go to right away because of that those two things, the rough texture and because of the brightness of it. I don't need it that bright, and I don't draw real large. I want to start drawing a little bit larger, but I don't want to draw large just to draw large for large sake. I want it to be something that the portrait itself, the composition, everything else would make sense. I think there's something compelling about smaller portraits. But yeah, I think if you're going larger, then it's, makes more sense, I guess. Let's see here. Yeah, but that rough texture is something that, I've noticed that it's kind of like the way that I mix it up sometimes. And to be honest, I've not used it very many times, and I've played around with it and tested it quite a bit. And when I used it on this recent commission I was doing, I was so excited because it just made these pearls just pop, and I couldn't have done that any other way. I mean, I just couldn't have. So I love it that it's an option, that we can use. Okay, let's see here. These eyes are starting to freak me out because they're looking really spooky. You have to put this pencil down. Okay, let's see here. So I'm looking at these eyes. I want to make sure that I get something that looks, like these eyes. I'm going to turn this around, I guess, for a moment. And so this is grass green. Now we've got foliage. Foliage green, and I guess they just call it foliage, though. And then racing green. Racing green, that's really dark. Okay. And we've got olive earth. Olive earth was in the original set. And so was racing green, if I'm not mistaken. Grass green and foliage are new. Those two right there are brand new. And olive earth. Okay. And then we've got grass green 50%. I'll put it over here. I'm sorry, 70%. I'm really liking that. I like to go with pencils that are very saturated. Yeah, that olive earth is really nice. And I think I'm going to have to use that one for those eyes. I'm liking this one too. So this is a good one. Yeah, that's good. And I like that grass green 70%. I like to go a little bit brighter in the eyes at the beginning, and then I can, tone it down just a little bit by using an opposite to neutralize the color just a little bit. Let's see what was that? That was foliage, wasn't it? Yeah, those two are good. So I think I'm going to go with those three, and then probably use some yellows and some blues as well. But those are nice right there. I really want to use that amber gold. I'm tempted just to use it just because I want to use it. It's such a pretty color, but it would look really weird in the eyes, I think. That's the kind of thing, though, that you can do when you're nearly done with a piece and you want to sort of just add a little more color just to get more color in a piece. Just go around and add some bright little areas just to make certain things stand out a little bit more. So, okay. I'm seeing these eyes are, there's a lot of things going on here. I'm seeing a lot of green over here in the eyes. And then right up in here. Oh, I shouldn't have gone that far in into the pupil with making all of that black right there. I see green right over here, though. And so over here, where is that? I don't see it as much. I see it a little bit over here. And over here a little bit, not too much. So you gotta you have to kind of force your eyes to see things. Extend that up just a little bit. Now let's see. And one thing I want to do is I want to add just some values in here where I don't even see them in the reference, but I know it will make it look more three-dimensional. So let me find a good neutral color. Probably wheat, yeah. So I take this wheat and extend this down just a little. That's not dark enough. Let's see here. Maybe sienna. Yeah, sienna would probably work. So I can take sienna and shade this down just a little bit. All the way across. Because an eye looks better when it looks more three-dimensional. Oh, the new background. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I was like, I didn't even do a background on this portrait. I'm just kidding. Okay. Sometimes it takes me a while. Okay, I'll go this direction. Thanks, Kelly. And I can go in this direction, horizontally, towards the iris. Now I can always change this. I can put lighter colors over darker colors. But I'll have this base coat underneath of this dark area. And really because I'm just saying, hey, this is a three-dimensional form. This eyeball has form and dimension. Now some of you may be looking at that like, he just destroyed it. He just messed that up. Remember, it's on Pastelmat, so we can, like I said, we can go in a lighter direction a little later on. So, but you might be right. I might have just destroyed it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. You can usually always get something to a different, change the color, shift the color around. Just another reason why I love colored pencil. Okay, I'm going to shade this down. And from the bottom up just a little bit. Not a whole lot. From this side, though, over. There we go. Okay. I like it. All right, so I'm going to go real dark here with this olive earth. Especially up here towards the top. And I can thin my line out just a little bit as I get closer towards, whoops, did not mean to do that. As I get closer towards the center of the eye. There we go. The eyes are one of those things that I keep, I don't know if you guys are like this, but I keep going back to the eyes over and over again. I just can't leave them alone. Even when I'm working on something else, I'm often looking over there at the eyes and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to fix that part, or I'm gonna go back over that again. You know, I just can't leave them alone. Okay, move this down. Again, I can go darker at the top and thin my line out as I get closer towards the bottom here in the middle. And on this side, I can even go a little bit darker than I did over there on the right side. There we go. Go ahead and fill that in a little bit. And just so I can reassure myself, I'm going to take white. Actually, not white. I'll use whatever this is, Arctic. And so here's one of my blacks. This one is just black. And I can go over this with white. I keep turning my pencil. I can sharpen it again. You see how nicely that works? So that's not even pure white, but I think it proves the point. You can go over that and you can create a very bright area, even in an area that you went totally black on. Okay. But I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and establish sort of where this little highlight is right in here. And then up into the eye, right by the pupil there. And over on this side. And same thing over here on the left side. Right in here. Not wanting to take that as well right there next to the pupil for some reason. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to pull out white, get it sharpened up here. And I can go over that again. Whoop, broke that little tip off. That's all right. Go over that again. Make that even brighter. Some areas right there in the sclera that are very bright. And then over here in the eye, right there in the iris itself. There we go. And over here. Okay, that's probably good. All right. So I can go back to my dark colors. I can take that green now, and I can just sort of shade that in everywhere lightly. Same thing over here. There we go. And I can use this darker green now, that olive earth. Needs sharpened. I don't know if they'll ever replace the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils, but I don't know. I can't really say because I'm really loving them. As far as, working on Stonehenge paper and then using the Luminance pencils, that's what creates that just beautiful skin tones. So I don't know that I'll be able to do that with these pencils. I don't know yet, though. It's an interesting question. Might happen. Had to check my phone. My daily spam call. Nice. I was kind of missing it. You guys get those? They're so fun. Okay. See a little more of this moving out over here. And right up in here. It needs to be real dark next to that highlight. Up in here. I want to see more of that iris, really. I mean the pupil, rather. I want to see more of the pupil right in there. Let me go back over here. Needs to be thicker right in here and right in there. Okay. Yeah, don't you? Isn't that great? It's like when we got cell phones, we, or at least I thought, that we weren't going to have those issues with all that spam, all the telemarketers and all that, and the spam calls. Now it just doesn't matter. Okay. That is a very, very bright blue up there in the iris. I wonder if I should do that. It really is cool looking. Wonder if this color would do it. I might just have to break out the titanium white and touch up texture for that, because it would really be nice just to put a little dab right there and then go over that with more of this lighter color. Might be overkill, though, too. It's not something I have to figure out right now. This is really bright right in there, though. I didn't notice that earlier. I can make that a little brighter. And that's a nice thing about it. You can always kind of, cheat a little bit in that respect as well, where you can make it very, very dark right next to your highlight. Anything that's being, in reflection, anything reflecting light, make it very dark all the way around that. And then on the opposite side, because this is a clear, see-through part of the eye there, that, what is that area right there? The cornea that sits up on top of the iris. And what happens is that light transfers over, you know, to the other side, and it hits this other area and brightens it up. And so being able to depict that is a nice thing to do. Okay, what do we got? Dark indigo. No, I think I want to grab that. One of my many blacks here. I can use chocolate. There's so many blacks to choose from. Let me see here. There it is, chocolate. Okay. Needs sharpened. There we go. Kind of losing my pupil in there. I don't want to lose it. I won't be able to see if I don't have my pupil. Okay. Made myself laugh. There we go. Something I don't like about that, but I'll fix it later, I guess. Okay, and then over here, same thing. I've got to get things dark enough. If I don't have it dark enough, then I won't be able to show anything bright enough. All right. Put some of the eyelashes in here. And on this side. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I want to lighten up the sclera. I think I am going to use this Arctic color. Okay, it's kind of nice. I kind of like that. Now I can see that blue shining through just a little bit on the bottom there, which is what I wanted. It was kind of a test, but it kind of worked out, I think. Okay, go all the way over to where that crease is for the start of the tear duct over there. There we go. And then this is where I usually want to grab a very, very bright red pencil and create some of these lines that I need in there to establish some of the edges that I have in the skin area of the eyelids. Let's see. There we go. All right. I think I like this cherry red. I've got that little vein happening over here. It's kind of too early to do things like this, but I'm just going to do it anyway, since we're just testing these pencils. And down here, we can make that edge just a little bit, even though this might be kind of bright. We can soften it up later. And over here, there we go. And then in the tear duct area, just a little bit, just a hint. Of something a little more saturated. Put a little bit of that up there. Whoops. Okay. So if I use that down there, I can use it up here now. And there's a bit of a wrinkle right here. That didn't go quite as planned. That's all right. I can come down like this. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Okay. We can remove that. Okay. Smooth that out just a little bit. Right in there. There we go. A little bit better. And so backing up just a little bit with that. And then we'll try it later. That was not well executed, not the plan right there. So I'll try that later. Okay, I see a lot of purple in here, and more of a purple tone than what I have right now. And this extends up nearly the whole way with that value right in there. And then these areas need to be a lot more purple than what they are right now. So let's see here. I'm gonna use this dark indigo. Sharpen this up just a little bit. There we go. And I want to put some of that in the eye here. Just a little bit. And let's see. Enhance those eyelashes just a little bit up here. There we go. And then a little more of this darker color over here and over here. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, this eye needs to be a lot darker. And I see a lot of differences there. Okay. I think I'm actually going to use Merlot just a little bit over here. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but in this Merlot, I've got a little fleck of a lighter material right in there. It looks like a lighter pigment, whatever it is. And I just noticed that when I was sharpening. Well, I actually noticed it before I sharpened it. And then I've also got a little hole. I don't know if you can see that in this pencil. This is Heather. And it's just got a little hole in the pencil lead. Not sure why. It's one of those things. It happens sometimes. Okay. Go over here. This will darken this up quite a bit. And then I can also come back in there with some yellows and some other greens if I need to. And I will need to. I can tell already I'm going to. Okay. All right. Well, you know, I'm kind of satisfied with that as a just an initial little test. Let's see here. Put a little bit of that in there. A little bit of scarlet. Yeah, as an initial test, I think that's kind of nice. Let's see. Use a little bit of this salmon. The tear duct area. Yeah, most of my first victims were people I knew, like family, because I knew they wouldn't, you know, stone me or anything if I messed up. But then I started just, you know, trying. Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like I'm when I'm drawing or painting, you know, doing any art, I kind of lose track of time, and I feel like you know, I can't. You feel a little bit like you are unable to speak very well. Often is what happens if you're really concentrating on what you're doing. That's the way it is for me. Some I know don't have any problem with that. I don't know how that's possible though. It's not possible for me usually. I have to, you know, sort of pause from what I'm doing and pay attention to words and speaking and that sort of thing. But otherwise, yeah, it's difficult to do. But yeah, to answer your question, Lady Marigold, a nice thing to do is just, you know, find some references that, you know, you don't necessarily even have to be the one that took the references, but get some references, some reference photos, that is, and just start drawing from those and practicing, figuring out, you know, what works and what you like and what you're struggling with. But I like to, you know, I like to take my students through studying the anatomy because that's what sort of turned it around for me. I thought I could just, you know, not do that at the beginning, and you can, you know, but once I started studying the anatomy again, I noticed it made things so much simpler. Use that Mars Violet right in here. This is actually really dark right here. And then maybe some of the salmon right in there. Extend that up just a little bit. It's actually darker down here though. And then we've got that dark edge over here. That edge runs down here. And I'm losing this edge, this fold up here. And actually I'm starting to lose this dark area up here, especially when we start judging the values based on the eyelashes and the pupil. So and this is sort of a, you know, a purplish kind of color. So this is kind of what I wanted in here, was this darker color. It's darkest right in here, and then it sort of spreads out just a little bit. And extends out, comes down here. There we go. Now remember, if you're new to like a sanded paper or, you know, Pastelmat, it's in that line of papers that are non-absorbent. So if you're using a non-absorbent surface like a Pastelmat or sanded paper, anything like that, you have to kind of be okay at the beginning stages of your drawing process with it just being kind of rough and not a smooth texture, a smooth surface. You know, that's all right, because it's going to be different later. As you add layers, it will smooth out and it will start looking better and better. You have to sort of trust the process and realize that you're going to make it look nice. By the time you're done, it will achieve, you know, that smooth finish that you want. But at the beginning, it's going to be rough, and that's okay. Pastelmat's very deceptive. It's deceiving to work on it because you start thinking, oh, I can't get as many layers in here as I could with some other type of paper. But you really can if you just keep going and you keep layering. It'll work out. It just doesn't feel like it's going to at the beginning. Now see, some of those areas are lighter than what I'm seeing even right now in the way that this is being portrayed and is laying down in this area. And that's all right, because what I can do is I can use my lighter pencils then to lighten those areas up as I go back to them. I readdress those areas. That's one of the cool things about these non-absorbent surfaces like this, is you can be more intuitive when you draw. You can move in and out of dark and light values, and you're not going to hurt anything. Now, when you're doing that, like on a traditional cotton paper, it's less forgiving. You can still do that somewhat, especially after you've built up enough layers, but it can be scary too. It can be a little bit dangerous sometimes as well. Okay. Let's see. I don't like how dark that got right there. There we go. Just remove that for a little while. Even if I end up making that darker later on, right now, I don't want it to be quite that dark. Okay. Just taking a look at it. So I could come back in here. Let's see. I could extend this out. Yeah, I need to wait on that, apparently. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. Yeah, thanks for joining me today. And this was a lot of fun. Just testing these colors out and testing this pencil line. You know, probably go ahead and work on this and finish it. But I think this was fun just to, as an initial test to figure out what these pencils will do and the performance of them. I mean, they're so very, very nice. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. Thanks again for joining or for watching the replay, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye.